The Chiefs are 6-7. Their season is pretty much done. They have a 15% chance, according to NFL.com, to make the postseason. And it's not just the fact that their record is so bad, Brad, it's the fact that all these teams that they're chasing pretty much they've lost the tiebreaker, right? Houston, they've lost to. Jacksonville, they've lost to. Buffalo, they've lost to. Denver and the Chargers, they lost the first meeting to both of those teams. So they have an uphill battle. They got to win out, and then they pretty much need one of these other teams to lose out as well. Now, fortunately for Kansas City, they do have to play the Titans and the Raiders on the road. They should win those games. And then they get the Broncos and the Chargers this week at home, which are going to be tougher games. But I mean, what do you make of the situation that Kansas City is in? Do you give them any chance at all that maybe they can find themselves into the playoff picture, or do you think that their season is over?
They're done. They're toast. They're fully cooked right now. Just go ahead and drop into a deep fryer and a side of tartar and serve it up. I mean, Kansas City ain't going to bounce back from this. It was very apparent. Just look at Travis Kelce late in that game, the last time out, and just how despondent and crestfallen he looked. Just the frustration has mounted so much because his team is just won again. And all the close shaves that they were winning last year, not winning this year. And, what's really not been overly reported is how bad the defense has been. I know Trent McDuffie was banged up early in that game, last time out, but ended up coming back. Played so-so against the Houston Texans. Really couldn't get it done. But defensively, as a collective, since week 9, Kansas City's number 27 ADP per play D. They're not really, executing very highly in run coverage. They're not executing very highly in pass coverage. They're just so painfully mundane, rather vanilla in every defensive category. They have to go out there in order to conquer those defensive flaws. They got to score 35 or 40 in a game, and they can't do that, which is crazy. With a healthy bevy of wide receivers and with Rashee Rice back, is usually one of the elite route separators in the league. Xavier Worthy's got elite speed. Hollywood Brown can still make some big plays down the field. Travis Kelce obviously can still get it done in a pinch. But defensively, that is the biggest and most glaring flaw that Kansas City has, and is going to limit them down the bitter end. They're going to beat Las Vegas. They're going to beat Tennessee. I think it's coin flip that they win at home at Arrowhead against the LA Chargers. And I think it's probably less than a 40% chance they're going to exact a revenge against the Denver Broncos at home in Arrowhead. So you go 2-2 down the home stretch. Hell, even go 3-1, and you're going to be the outside looking in, and you can blame the defense, Andy Reid, more than anything else. I think the onus hangs on Spags' shoulders.
I mean, it's crazy to think that they're in this situation. I still can't get over that they lost that game on Sunday night to the Texans. I mean, that is just always the spot that Kansas City wins those kinds of games. Brad, the worst season that Patrick Mahomes has had as a starter is losing in the AFC Championship game. That's the worst season he's ever had as a starter. He's never missed the playoffs. He's never lost in the wild card round, divisional round. He either loses in the AFC Championship, loses in the Super Bowl, or wins the Super Bowl. Those are how his seasons end, one of 3 ways. So the fact that they're not even going to make the playoffs is just, it's wild that we're at this point. And again, it's kind of like the situation that the Ravens are in and the Chiefs have to be kicking themselves too. It's like, what a great year to make the postseason with all these other teams that are in the mix that are kind of unproven, and you feel like you definitely have the experience over those teams, but their offense just has not been able to figure it out. As you mentioned, the defense has been very up and down for them this season as well. They have had a tricky schedule, but all these games this year where you kind of look at turning points for the Chiefs, right? Coming out of that bye week, going on the road and playing Denver. Mahomes is so good in divisional games. He's so good on the road. Him and Andy Reid are so good off of bye weeks. Couldn't win that one. And then you get the game again against Houston on Sunday, and that was the nail in the coffin for Kansas City. So I am with you, sir. The Chiefs, they are cooked, and their season is over. Another team that I also think is cooked is Indianapolis, who they're hanging on for dear life. They're 8-5 right now. They got that final. They're actually out of the playoffs with Houston winning and both of those teams being 8-5. So Indy's on the outside looking in. And Brad, they have one of the toughest schedules remaining in the NFL. At Seattle, home San Francisco, home Jacksonville, and at Houston. And now with Daniel Jones out for the year, it's not crazy to think that Indy could lose out the rest of the way and finish the season potentially 8-9 on the season, considering that they were 8-1, which is just crazy. Or excuse me, they were 7-1, 8-2, and now they might finish the season 8-9. I mean, is there any case to be made for the Colts? Can they figure this out? Even if Jonathan Taylor goes absolutely berserk, can they still, is there any way that they can make the postseason?
No, I don't think so. I can't believe they have a 42% chance. Honestly, it should be like a
Yeah.
2% chance. They're not going to win in Seattle. No way in hell. I'm not buying it any way, shape, or form. Jonathan Taylor could go nuts for like 150 yards and 2 to 3 touchdowns. They probably still lose that game. Defensively, they come unraveled. They're now number 16 in EPA per play defense. They were consistently inside the top 10 in that category. You look since week 9, they're now number 20 in EPA per play offense over that 5-game stretch, and they were consistently one of the best and most efficient on a per play basis offenses in the country. And now you might be relying on a 44-year-old technically has been, and Phillip Rivers if Riley Leonard can't go. And he got the Niners on the immediate horizon. That's a team that's got healthy and is getting right. They get the Jaguars, who have been white stinking hot, and then you're on the road against the Texans and the best defense in the NFL. L, 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 and L again. Bye-bye, Indianapolis. It's been fun. But the Colts right now headed to the glue factory.
I'm with you. 42 is just, I mean, I don't know if they're making the proper adjustment for the quarterback situation or what's going on, but the fact that Phillip Rivers might start for them on Sunday kind of tells you the situation that they're in. It's unfortunate because Indianapolis was one of the great stories of the season. Daniel Jones was playing such good football. They go all in with the Sauce Gardner trade. Brad, I kind of think that's their biggest issue. Like, forget about missing the playoffs this season.
Yeah,
You mortgage your future to go all in, right? With Sauce giving up those first rounders. And now with Daniel Jones tearing his ACL, I mean, you're going to be looking for a quarterback for much of next season too. So tough break for Indianapolis, no question, but I just echo everything that you said, and they are cooked. You can kiss the Colts season goodbye. All right, now we get into some of the more interesting NFL teams that we either think could make or miss the playoffs. As PJ Glasser, Brad Evans here on BetMGM tonight. Let's look at my team, the Baltimore Ravens. They are also 6-7 on the season, but they're only one game back of the Steelers, who beat them on Sunday to improve to 7-6. The issue for the Ravens is their schedule. At Cincinnati on Sunday, which won't be easy. Home against the Patriots on Sunday night, which won't be easy. At Green Bay and Lambeau, where it's probably going to be negative degrees in that game. And then you got another trip with the Steelers on the road in Pittsburgh. Brad, just the way that the AFC North has gone this season, I don't know how it's going to happen, but something tells me that the division is just going to come down to that Week 18 game, Ravens-Steelers, right? It just feels like we've been on that collision course. Steelers get off to the 4-1 start. Ravens are 1-5. Ravens come all the way back to catch them. Now they've lost their last two. It looks like the Steelers are going to win this division. Feels like as soon as one team has the lead on the other one comes back into the mix. So even though on paper, Pittsburgh has the easier schedule. They're home against Miami this week. They play Cleveland. They do have to go on the road to Detroit as well. Those are their 3 games. I just have a feeling that somehow, some way, these two teams, I think, are both going to be 8-8 going into that Week 18 game, and it's going to be winner take all for the AFC North. So the fact that you can get Baltimore at plus money to make the playoffs, win the division, and they're probably going to be a short favorite in that game against Pittsburgh, I actually think they're worth a bet just from a numbers standpoint. But Brad, it feels like we're heading in that direction where the way this thing has been going, and these two teams, neither team wants to win this division. Both are trying to lose it, and neither team looks good right now. I think it's going to come down to Week 18 and grabbing plus 175 with the Ravens now when they're probably going to be minus 150 in that game, Week 18. I do think that's a good bet. I think they lose that game and the Steelers make the playoffs, but I think the value right now on the Ravens, I think, would probably be worth a bet.
Yeah, look, I definitely feel that there's value there at plus 175. There's no question about it. I think they're going to go 1-3 though down the home stretch. We're going to see it's kind of a coin flip game how they're going to manage the outcome on the road against Cincinnati. Cincinnati had Buffalo on the ropes until Joe Burrow had those inexplicable pair of interceptions, all the deflections on one going for a pick six, and that just flipped everything because Cincinnati was largely in control in that game. And the biggest issue for the Baltimore Ravens, I think, has been defensively. Now, I will give them credit based on some of the advanced analytics. They are a top 10 in EPA per play defense over the last 5 weeks. So they're making some strides. It's encouraging signs. But what version of Lamar Jackson to get? He's not been the successful runner that we saw. He's not really the definition of a dual threat. He had some big pass plays to Zay Flowers last Sunday. Can that carry over into Cincinnati against arguably, and indeed they are the worst defense on EPA per play defense basis in the NFL? They're going to lose against New England. They're going to lose on the road against Green Bay. And then you're right, that Steelers game could come down to them being themselves in or out. It doesn't really matter. Look, it's semantics. So what? If you get in the playoffs, you're going to win a single game? No. Baltimore is going to get bounced early. Maybe it's the Buffalo Bills year to make a run, but I'm still back in New England, bar none, in my opinion, the best team in the AFC.
I mean, I agree with you from the standpoint of it really doesn't matter who wins the AFC North. Both of those teams are probably going to be one and done in the playoffs. Maybe they win that home game, but I don't think either's making a deep run in January. Let's talk about your Chicago Bears, Brad. And I have never seen this ever, where it's week 14 in the NFL and they go from the 1 seed to the 7 seed after losing to Green Bay. That is how close it is right now in the NFC wildcard race. And if they were to lose this week and Detroit were to win, the Bears would be out of the postseason as it currently stands.
Crazy.
So it is as close as it could be. They got some massive games upcoming with Green Bay, San Francisco, and Detroit. So there is some real danger that the Bears can miss the playoffs. But what do you think? Are they going to get in?
I think they will. All they got to do is defend home turf. And you got 3 of your last 4 games at Soldier Field. And Mother Nature is going to be your friend, especially against the Lions, an indoor team. Although they play in a lot of cold weather games, as Jared Goff, a complete different quarterback in the elements. Green Bay, you're going to be motivated revenge. You're going to be motivated by the fact that you're arch rival. And that's coming up next week. They should take care of business, I would say, with you, but nothing is easy right now against the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders, got to give him credit. I was wrong about Shedeur. He is proving me a giant boob and an idiot, which is really easy to do. He's playing really good football, making strides. So kudos to him. They're going to lose at San Francisco. I'm pretty much convinced of that. Defensively at the back end, that's where they have to show consistency and tighten up because they were just obliterated. They were annihilated in single eye coverage against Christian Watson, which was idiotic given his elite speed and separation skills, and they were eaten alive as a result. So Ben Johnson is going to lean on the run, continue to go ground and pound with DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. Caleb Williams going to be a glorified game manager, but I was going to make some big plays with the arm, but also with the legs. All they got to do is go 3-1, and I think that's achievable, and they will punch their ticket for the postseason. And I think the Bears are definitely a dark horse because if they can galvanize, if they can come together and play excellent defense, they can win a couple of games.
Man, it's gonna be really, really fun to watch. I think it's gonna come down to that Week 18 game between the Bears and the Lions. That feels like a playoff game. Winner goes to the postseason. Loser goes home.